Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews. Today we have a chance to look at a very cool, very hard to find Legacy Collection figure set, a story pack from Mattel, and this one, as you can see, is Velociraptor Robert Muldoon 2-pack. This is basically the big one, which was the female Velociraptor from Jurassic Park, and we've got, of course, Robert Muldoon, who was said to have met his doom from the raptor right there in the park. Although I've heard contradicting stories as to whether or not Muldoon survived. There may be some sort of canon explanation out there that maybe Muldoon did survive. I have no idea. Regardless, we've got the 2-pack right here to look at. There are two different versions of these 2-packs when it comes to the Velociraptor story packs that came out at the same time. This one, and then there was also an Alan Grant JP3 female raptor that came out. I haven't acquired the female raptor one quite yet, but I am super excited to take a look at this one. This is the one that I was actually less excited for, but regardless, I was able to score this for about 25 bucks plus shipping from Isla Sorna Restorations on Instagram. He was kind enough to sell me one, so luckily, thanks to him, we now have a chance to look at it here with you guys. So as you can see, as far as the packaging goes, it's pretty much your standard Legacy Collection packaging. You've got the Rex over there on the left taking out a nice roar and screaming at us, and then you've got the figure itself there with the JP Rex logo in the background. Unfortunately, we've got some stuff over here that is a sticker on the packaging that we cannot read, and then you can actually see the other Legacy story pack right there that I was just talking about with Alan and the female JP3 Raptor, which I really do want to get a hold of, hopefully very soon. And then some images here of basically what's going on here with Muldoon and the Velociraptor. So let's go ahead, break this open, and take a look at it. So here is Muldoon, along with his trademark gun, and then the Velociraptor right there, now out of the packaging. These ones don't come with any kind of cool collector's card like the Dino Rivals figures do, but regardless, this Raptor actually looks quite nice out of the packaging. This is one that, again, I was just a little unsure of, I guess I could say. Simply because this sculpt of the Raptor is definitely not my favorite. I'm not a huge fan of it. But honestly, looking at this one, this is easily the most appealing looking paint scheme that I've seen on this Raptor. It really, really does look quite nice. And I think they've done a pretty darn good job overall on the paint of this figure. Again, it's not perfect to what you see on the original film's Raptors, but it's darn close for being a mass-produced toy. They did a pretty good job on it. We've probably seen Muldoon repeatedly about 1,000,000 times throughout all the stores of the Targets and everything that had him. He was a really popular shelf-warming figure because, I don't know, I guess Muldoon just doesn't have too many fans, but let's go ahead and take a look at both of these up close right now. So as far as Muldoon goes, I think they really, really did a great job capturing his likeness and bringing it to figure form, along with also getting his outfit really nicely done. I think they did a great job overall matching up the outfit that he wears in the film, along with the sculpt and detail throughout, and really quite nicely sculpting him out to look like Robert Muldoon from the film. Really beautiful figure, honestly. I'm a huge fan of pretty much all of the human figures from Mattel, and I don't really review them very often because they're not dinosaurs or anything like that, but I definitely really do quite like them, and the fact that they've included the actual gun that Muldoon uses in the film is also awesome. So this part of the set is great, although it's kind of just a repackage of the Muldoon figure that you could buy as a standalone release at Target, so there's nothing super special about it, but I have not reviewed any of the human figures before, so this really is a great figure, and I did want to stress that. Now, as far as the Velociraptor, of course, we've reviewed this sculpt about 163,000 times already, so we don't have to review the sculpt again and just basically take a look at what's new. As far as the Raptor goes, you can see that it does look quite nice. When it comes to the paint, it's primarily like a green, a very dark green, and then you've got this brown that kind of borders the eye and then runs out a little bit into the palette. As far as the paint goes, there's not much going on up here on the top of the head. Both eyes are actually pretty decently painted. This one's back a little bit too far, but for the most part, as far as the Mattel Attack Pack Raptor goes, I think they did a darn good job of actually getting the eye in the right spot. Of course, the jaw is articulated. The teeth actually look really, really nice in there. There's no real sloppiness or anything with them. They're painted with a nice white coloration, and then you can see the tongue is very nicely painted with like a pinkish color there. The inside of the mouth also. There's no paint on the upper part of the inside of the mouth, but you've got the skin flap over here that also looks to be painted quite nicely. It does appear to have a pretty nice gloss in there to give it a very nice realistic wet look, as does the eye. The articulated jaw also works perfectly, like you always seem to find on the Mattel figures. Now it popped open a little bit, there we go. As we move back into the neck, you can see that it gets this dark brown here up on the top, and it's kind of all over the place, but then litters and splotches down onto the sides, and then ends, of course, right here at the tail like they pretty much always do. But I still think it looks really, really nice, and the brown and green really does look very natural together. I think that's really quite beautiful looking, honestly. You've also kind of got these spots all over the place, like a speckled-like appearance that Mattel does tend to do very often when it comes to their figures, and it just helps to give it a little bit more of a variation of paint when there's not really too much included. You can actually see the tail is a slightly different shade of green than the body is. Same deal with the legs and the arms. Mattel does that also quite a bit when they have a slightly different shade of color on the limbs as opposed to the primary body color, which I'm okay with because, again, it gives it a little more paint variation, but you've also got these kind of speckles all over the place, which helps as well. I feel like the underside looks like maybe it has some slight paint to it, but I can't really tell for sure, as the shade is very close to the primary body color if it does. But regardless, it's really, really nice looking, and as far as a crouching Velociraptor like this goes, from Mattel, I think this is definitely the best one out of any of them that I've seen. There is the code for the Jurassic Facts app if you'd like to add this to your collection. So yeah, really, really quite nice. As far as a size goes from the tail to the head, on our Velociraptor, you'll see it about 7.5 inches in length, or about 19 centimeters. And for a height, there's not really much height at all. The highest point's probably the tail, so about 2 3/4 inches, or around 7 centimeters. As far as Muldoon goes, if we stand him up and get a height on him, he's just over 4 inches, or 10 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, and if you have any of the Attack Pack figures or any of the human figures previously, you'll know about the size because they're all pretty similar in size, especially the human characters. I think they're all about the exact same size, but the Velociraptor itself, this Velociraptor has been released many times already by Mattel, so you should by now have a pretty good idea of just how big it is. And next to the Papo Rex, if you haven't seen it before, you should now have at least somewhat of an idea of the fact that it's a pretty small figure, but at the same time, really quite nicely sized. So as far as a Mattel story pack goes, I really do like this one quite a lot. Much better in person than I ever thought I would like it, honestly. And the fact that it's such a very important key scene to the Jurassic Park film, it's that big moment where Muldoon finally gets face to face with his Velociraptors outside of their enclosure. It's such a cool thing now to have in figure form, thanks to Mattel. Mattel pretty much has done an incredible job the whole time on the Jurassic World line, but also not only bringing us beautiful figures, but really cool story packs that without Mattel we would not actually have. So I am super thankful for the fact that they do in fact have the Jurassic license, but also that they are putting forth so much effort to give us, the fans, stuff like this that we really quite love and crave. The only thing that I can say as far as a complaint goes when it comes to this is the fact that the distribution of this set and the JP3 set is absolutely terrible. We cannot seem to get these in the United States, so more often than not, if anybody can get a hold of them, you're either going to end up buying it from eBay or buying it from some foreign store, which I'm not entirely positive what stores sell them, but I do believe there were a few that did ship to the United States, which is why so many people were actually able to get a hold of these. But it's kind of a smack in the face to many fans all over the world when they get excited for an upcoming Jurassic World set coming out from Mattel, and then we just kind of don't get it. And it's not just us in the United States, it's all over the place. This is a problem all over the world, and it's really something that I would like to hope that maybe moving forward, Mattel could try to work out and get a little bit of a better deal, maybe with companies like Amazon, which even though they're kind of garbage when it comes to shipping and actually getting their products in, at least it would give people a shot at getting a hold of these and acquiring them. I know a lot of the problem isn't specifically Mattel, but I really feel like there are plenty of stores out there like Amazon and stuff that could easily stock these, or Mattel could probably open their shop back up to help us out when it comes to acquiring these. But regardless, I could complain all day about this. I'm here to talk about this set, and I apologize for getting a little off topic, but this set really is fantastic. We've had this Attack Pack Raptor already, like I said, numerous times before, but this is the first time that I think I can say, honestly, I really like it. Initially, I did quite like the sculpt and everything on this, but I think over time, I really kind of grew a little sour on it, and it became my least favorite Mattel Raptor. But with this paint scheme and this very cool story pack, it kind of has replenished my love for it, and I really like it in this color scheme and the entire appearance of this set. It's something that makes such a very cool diorama, and I really love it. I love the paint apps on this and everything. The Muldoon figure is awesome, as it always was, and everything about this just screams nostalgia to me. Takes me straight back to Jurassic Park, and that is never a bad thing. So if you do want to buy one of these, I will try to find a site where you can purchase one. If not, maybe scope out eBay and you might be able to find one on there. Definitely a very cool set, worth pursuing, but I wouldn't pay too much over the price of about $25–30 for it, because I think above that it starts to get a little bit ridiculous and not really worth it. But it is still a very cool set. So go ahead, try to find this as best you can, but before you do that, please like, comment, subscribe, hit that bell to be notified of any future videos, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.